Hello and welcome. I need to remember that this is actually going to be something someone listens to as well. If you are listening on a platform that is not visual, like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or the other platforms that I'm blessed to have this podcast on, um, you wouldn't see me just sitting here waving at the camera in the beginning. So that awkward pause in the beginning was mine. Hello. So happy to be back yet another week for Lani G Speaks the podcast. Welcome and welcome back. I am so happy to have you here. I am Lani G, a spiritual life coach and intuitive healer for Black women, and I am here to talk to you today about how hurt people hurt people. Now, we've heard this many times, but I'm going to talk about how generationally we continue to hurt and how we can stop that thing right now, right here, right now. So thank you for being here. So happy to see you virtually in the ethers or whatever. Thank you for being here. Anyway, so as often I do, my thoughts start to unravel when I'm meeting with my coach. And so I was having a meeting with her and we were talking about where I want my business to go and like honestly why I want my business. It doesn't feel like a business to me because I'm gonna be real with y'all. I'm not a business savant or nothing. I don't even really want it to be a business. I just know that that's the world we're living in, and I do believe that I should be paid for the work that I do. But I feel like this work should just be offered. You know, I'm one of those people. Now I don't believe. Look, if I'm working with somebody else and like a spiritual coach or just anybody who's, I'm gonna pay them. Okay, I'm not saying that y'all should not pay me. I'm saying that this work is needed. And if we were not in a system, a capitalist system, I'm gonna go there for a little bit. If we weren't in that system, I would not give a fuck. I'm gonna be like, girl, what you gonna give me? You know what I'm saying? Barter, throw it back. You know what I'm saying? Throw it back to how we used to have it. But here we are. And we were just talking. I was just like, she was asking, okay, so like, what about this? Like, are you gonna start doing this again? Because I used to do it, and I was like, I don't know. I just feel like that thinking about the business part of it takes me out of it because I'm like, I just want to share my gifts. I just want to talk about healing. I just want to help Black women heal. That's it. That's it. Okay. And I started talking about like the impact of healing and like my mission when I first started my business was to empower 1 million Black women to love themselves fully and out loud in order to live liberated. And I just realized my microphone is so far. I'm going to start this over. I was like, why does it sound like I'm so far away? Actually, I'm not going to stop it. You know, look, I'm no producer. It says I'm a producer on this thing, but I'm not. Okay, I put my headphones in and I was like, oh, we're ready to record. Baby, that mic was damn near across the room. I'm sorry, friend. I'm sorry. What the hell? Please don't judge me. But the word that I said is the word that I said. I'm going to leave it there. Okay. But I was talking about the impact of healing and how that, and she said to me, she was like, because hurt people hurt people. And I was like, yeah, exactly. That's how this generationally, some of this hurt gets passed down, right? Like some of it, like the generational quote unquote curses. I don't feel like nobody put a curse on any of us. I don't think. I feel like for generations and generations, we have made the same choices. Now, I do believe that specifically within the Black community, some of those choices were our only option, right? We didn't know what else to do. We weren't taught any differently. And that's why people of other, races and ethnicities have different, types of hurt that they go through because they got access to different things. Like, therapy, in my lifetime, therapy has been normalized within my family. In my lifetime. Like before me, it was not a conversation. Like when I'm gonna go on a little tangent with y'all real quick. I dealt with trigger warning, suicidal ideation. Okay. I dealt with suicidal ideation, I didn't ever make an attempt. I was very close a couple of times. But the first time I was just like so overwhelmed and told my mom, like, because it happened, the first time it happened, I was like 7, 8, maybe. I was a youngin'. where I thought about wanting to end my life. And the first time I brought it to my mother, y'all, she shook me and said, "You are not white." It's laughable now. At the time, I was like, "What are you talking about? Girl, I want to die. What are you talking about? This don't got nothing to do with me being black." But to her, she ain't know what to do with that. And so that created a wound for me. It did, because I didn't feel safe enough to express myself in how I authentically felt. I literally was like, I don't want to be here anymore. This is too hard. Life is too hard. I don't want to do this. And instead of a conversation about what's going on, why do you feel that way, as a young teen, about to go off to college in your senior year of high school, why do you feel like you don't want to be here anymore? It's like, girl, shut that down, okay? Because that's what she learned to do. And so in her being hurt, right, like as I've gotten to know my mom since a teenager, right, I'm now in my 30s, and I've had many, many conversations with my mother, and I've gotten to learn about her and understand why she does what she does, understand more of it, because I don't understand her for sure, like 100%. But I understand more of why she did the things that she did. It didn't negate the fact that I was hurt by it, but it made it more clear to me that the more that she was hurt in her reality, the more likely I was going to be hurt. Her children, her offspring was going to be hurt, because she didn't know no better. She didn't know what to do with that. Like, she didn't know how to navigate mental health issues, because in her generation, mental health issues ain't real. That's what white people deal with. I mean, look at TV. Like, when I grew up, it was like, oh, the white people, if they were in therapy, it was like, oh, you crazy? You on medication? What's wrong with you? Like, and that was not a thing for black people. It's just becoming normalized now. And so it's like, it's a process. But it, again, I say, does not negate the impact. Doesn't negate it. So, one of the things that we were talking about after me and my coach, after we processed like why I want to do this work, why am I back to doing this work, and I was like, I just really want as many as many black women in the world as possible to heal themselves, to work towards their healing, to work towards loving themselves, to work towards having a relationship with themselves instead of a relationship with everybody else but you. You don't know yourself. You don't love yourself. But you got all the space in the world for everybody else. That is what I want to shift. And whatever I can do, I feel it is in my purpose. Part of my work, part of the reason I came on earth at this time was to help make that shift within the black community, specifically within the black women community. And so I'm doing that, because what I know to be true, and what she revealed, and not revealed to me, reminded me of, was like, when you heal yourself, you show up differently. And when you show up differently, you are impacting people in a different way. You're not bleeding onto other people with your hurt, with your pain. And great examples of this is like when we do our inner child healing work, we can see how our hurt is bleeding onto other people. So I will give you, I mean, if you've seen the show Forever, okay, sorry, I'm gonna spoil it if you haven't seen it, just a little bit. So one of the main characters, a girl, she meets a guy, kind-hearted young man. Well, she knows him. Anyway, I'm not gonna give away too much of it. She meet a guy, but she don't trust him for nothing, because the last guy she dealt with violated her in a way that she was just like, you reminded me of that. And now I'm gonna treat you a certain way because you acting just like him, because you are him in my mind. And so for people like me who similarly have, in my youth been violated by men, I, in my coming of age and as a young woman, was looking at every man like he was that first man that broke my heart, that second man that broke my heart, that third man that broke, you know what I'm saying? And so my hurt was bleeding onto them. There was no way for me to have a healthy relationship with them. There was no way for me to have any understanding for them. There was no way for me to have any grace for them, because I was hurt, and you are tapping on my wound. Right now, one of my teeth is needing help, and it's tender. Okay, I'm going to the dentist tomorrow. Don't worry about it. part 2 of my dental surgery. But every time I touch it, it's tender. It hurts. I shocked. I literally step back. Once I feel like I pause for a minute because it hurts. And so somebody in my real life is sitting on a wound that's not necessarily physical, but in my heart I feel that pain. Baby, I don't want to deal with you. I'm going to stop doing that thing. Being in your presence is triggering me. Being in your presence is hurting me. And I don't have no grace for that. I'm just going to stop doing the thing. And cutting off access with you is the quickest way for me to do that. Block button was strong. Still strong for the right people, right? You know. But there is just so much more nuance that I can recognize now as an adult. You know, getting older, like recognizing that everybody got their own stuff. Communication is important. I got to tell somebody, hey, I don't really like that you did that. And how they respond to that is then how I move forward. But when I'm operating in my hurt, I'm operating in my wound, I'm trying to survive, okay? And I don't care what you got to say. You the enemy now, okay? And so thinking back to the example that I gave about my mother and I, it was very much so, girl, I don't know what to do with that. Put that down. Suppress it. You're going to be all right, right? And so I believe that is how generational hurt has been passed down. It's because nobody did the healing work. And specifically within the healing community, within the Black community, there's multiple reasons, like I said, for why this has happened. A lot of us, if you're African American, right, Black American, we were enslaved. There was no, it was survival. There was no, hey girl, how are you feeling about that? There was no time for that. Then when we got out of, enslavement, we moved on to having to fight for our rights as people. No longer being owned, but still being, oppressed. And that is still happening, right? We have much more opportunities to care for ourselves now, which is why this work is so important and why it's happening and why there's a huge wave of consciousness around healing in the Black community, which I love. But there's still much more work to do because there's still a lot of spiritual bypassing, a lot of, rhetoric around praying it away. You can't pray it away. You can't pray it away. Or giving it to God. You can give it to God all you want, but God gave you the tools to work through it, and you over here not using them. Okay? Because I pray every day. I'm on a prayer. I think I told y'all that last week. I am on a prayer challenge with myself. Again, where I pray every day. Before I do anything else, I'm praying, I'm talking to God, okay, about me. And as much as, I was raised in the church, I was raised to believe that, prayer is and I do believe this, first line of defense, 100%. 100%. I do not believe we're here alone. I do believe there is a higher power that is supporting me, and I choose to call it God. I choose to call it spirit. I choose to call whatever comes to my mind at the time. But I'm talking to that source energy, and I'm asking for support. I'm asking for help, and I'm asking to see the support when it shows up. Because you say, God, help me. It's like, God, I need money. Help me get some money. God sends you somebody that got a job. They got a job for you. You qualify for it and everything. But God, I need the money. Where is the money? I'm sending you in a way that works I'm sending you the help that you need in the space that you're operating in. We are human beings on earth living in a capitalistic society where we have to pay our bills. It don't work like God will not just drop a bag of money in front of you. And what God won't do as well is give you something that you're going to just blow through as well. Okay. I literally have been praying. God, please help me make more money. I don't want to live in poverty anymore. Please. And I did not cross a certain threshold of making a certain amount of money until I learned how to manage that money. And guess what had to happen for me to get there? I had to be broke as a joke. Take it, like literally. Was not making no money. And guess what happened when I was making no money? I was eligible because I was broke. I was eligible to get free coaching from the Women's Resource in Houston. So if you are in Houston and you broke, well, I don't want to call you broke. If you are financially challenged and you need help, they have financial coaches, they have career coaches there. They have programming, all that stuff. The womensresource.org. Check it out. And I had a friend who told me about them, and I, put my information in, got connected with somebody, two coaches, a financial coach, career coach. And I learned how to budget. That's not something I was taught. And guess what happened after I learned how to budget? It didn't happen immediately, but guess what happened after I learned how to budget? Got my first salary job. And guess what I knew how to do when I got that money? Budget it. Because every time before then, when I had a job, as soon as I got paid, that money was gone. I don't know where it went. I was paying my bills, yeah, but sometimes I wasn't. Because I'm like, oh, I forgot about that bill. Because I didn't have a system in place. All of these things. So this little tip for y'all, if y'all want to pray. God, prepare me for what I'm asking for. Get me ready for what it is I'm asking for. Because I can ask for this day in, day out, day in, day out, day in, day out. But if I'm not ready to receive it, I'm not even going to recognize it when it shows up. I won't know what to do with it when it shows up. Okay. So yes, you can give it to God. You can lay your worries on God. You can give those things over. But God also has given you free will. And do not mistake this for a Christian podcast. It is not. I'm just saying to you, that was my ankle that just popped, is that you have power in the situation. You are able to change your situation, especially now. Yes, there are things that are built for our oppression. And I don't think that will ever not be the case. Sorry to say it. I don't think there will be a day, if there is, God, I'm sorry. But I don't think in my lifetime, there will be a day where all of us are on an equal playing field. But what you can do is take advantage of what you got in front of you. What you can do is be resourceful. Okay? And so going back to my topic, yes, I got a little bit on a tangent there. But it's important for us to recognize how generational hurt has been passed down. And like I said, specifically in the Black community, a lot of that was we kind of gave our power away, right? We didn't look to ourselves to be the decision maker, to be, the one that's making the choice. Like a quote that comes to mind for me right now is from The Alchemist, where the main character said, like, when you make a decision, the whole universe conspires to help you achieve it, to help you get to it. So like you waiting on God, God waiting on you. What do you want? Do you want to live a life where you feel at peace? Okay. How do we get there? God, I want peace. Help me. You know what I'm saying? So that's how we can change our perspective on that thing. But getting more clarity around how hurt people and how we can stop that hurt. I don't think there will ever be a time where, we can right all of the wrongs of the past. And what I say by that, like, generational hurt passed down by, people bearing children. And so we think about our parents, and I know many of my friends and family are mothers, right? And there's this feeling of like, I want to do better than what was done for me. And I've heard that. And my mother has said that. And she did do better than what was done for her. That still does not mean that I didn't get hurt as a child by her, that I wasn't offended by her, that I didn't feel I don't want to say disrespected. Maybe, I don't know. But I didn't understand why certain things didn't go the way I wanted them to go. I didn't feel heard necessarily all the time. I didn't necessarily always feel supported or understood as a child. And that can be detrimental. That is detrimental to a child, but that was passed down by her, from what she experienced. And I'm not here to tell my mom's story, but I know that as I've had conversations with my mother, I've gotten clarity on, oh, one, you did 10 times, probably 100 times better than what was done for you, baby girl. And I thank you. I thank you for choosing differently, And if I were to have children, I will choose differently for some of those things as well, but I'm only able to choose differently because of your choices. You gave me a good foundation, right? Everything wasn't perfect, but I got a good foundation to not pass on that hurt that you got but I still got some hurt and I don't want to pass that on to the next, you know? And that is a choice that I had to make because I chose to heal. And so it's incredibly important for us to choose to heal, to choose differently than what we were given or what we received, because you're going to hurt people, are going to hurt people intentionally, whether intentionally or unintentionally. And I don't want to be intentionally carrying forward any hurt that I had from my childhood because I decided I don't want to deal with it. I don't want to look back. It don't matter. It's in the past. And like, it's just not true. It's just not true. You are a human being. You holding on to some hurt, girl. And you got to let it go. You got to put it down. And you can only put it down if you do the work. You know? And it's important for us to do the work. It's not easy, but it is simple. It's a choice. It's yes or no. It's 50-50. It's you will or you won't. And it's a daily choice. It's a moment by moment choice. And it is empowering to remember that you have a choice. And you won't always get it right, but giving it a shot is more than maybe other people were able to do. So like, give it a try. Give it a try. You know what I'm saying? So that's really all I wanted to share today. I don't want to beat a dead horse, you know. The message is the message. And as we get to the end of today's episode, I want to end with what I have now decided is my closing, is what is the invitation or what is the question based on what you've heard today? And for me, that question is, how long will you allow your hurt to bleed onto other people? Because again, I say you have a choice. You can stop it right now. Or you can try to stop it. Okay? So I hope that you have taken something from this. I hope that you feel empowered to make a choice in your life and to explore your own hurt, to make space for your hurt. Like, your hurt is valid, and even if the people that hurt you are not willing to hear you, somebody is going to hear you, and that somebody is me. Here's the pitch. Hello, I am hosting an inner child healing workshop called The Art of Mothering Yourself. Now, I know by the title you're like, girl, it's just like a mother wound sort of thing. No, but it can apply to your mother. So, The Art of Mothering Yourself, the title came from God, divine energy. That title just got dropped in my spirit. And it's about learning how to be kind to yourself, learning how to reparent yourself with the intention of kindness and compassion being at the forefront. Because that is not something that Black women typically are afforded. Like, if anything, we're given the opposite. We're given harshness. We're given harshness. We're given no grace. And it is important for us to, even if nobody else gives it to us, we got to give it to ourselves. And so I feel that this workshop, I've been doing it since 2021. This is a very gentle introduction into inner child healing work if you have never done it before. It's a gentle introduction to healing work if you've never done it before. It makes it very tangible. I know sometimes when we think about what is healing? What does that mean? You know, like, is it this? What is it? Right? Like, it's so many different modalities that I feel like are popular now, or that are, I guess, yeah, popular, like we're more aware of now, we meaning Black people. And it can get overwhelming, it can get confusing. I know for me, when I feel like there's too many options, I don't want to do none of it. And so this is a very simple, very gentle workshop. It is a 2-hour workshop. It's on Sunday, May 25th at 12 o'clock Central Standard Time. It is a virtual workshop, so you do not have to be in Houston to take advantage of this. And tickets are on sale right now. I have a couple of options for people. So early bird pricing ends this Friday. So Friday, May 16th, I think. Friday, May 16th at 11:59 p.m. Okay. So you basically got almost to Saturday. You know what I'm saying? And tickets are $39 early bird price. They go up $10 after Friday. And another bonus is I have 2-for-1 pricing for the first time ever. So if you want to assist, maybe you and your mama, you and your cousin, you and somebody else, or you want to basically sponsor somebody else to go, you could get that 2-for-1 ticket and you get them a spot as well. So, I don't want accessibility to be a barrier to entry for healing for anybody. So that is an option for you. Or if maybe you just buying a 2-for-1 ticket and you don't know who else you want to take advantage of it, you can DM me on Instagram at coached by Lani G. That's coached, like COACHED by Lani G, LANIG on Instagram. Send me a DM and I'll let people know, hey, there's a spot available because somebody bought one for you. So that is my offer to you. I would love for you to come. In the description of today's episode, I will put the link to the Eventbrite page. It'll give you more information, like answer some, frequently asked questions that are on the page. That people have asked me about the workshop, or that I feel are like common questions that people might have. But it is a powerful, very, very powerful workshop. It is centered around journaling and group sharing. Community-based healing is a big part of what it is that I do and what I'm a big proponent of. Like, I support community-based healing, and I know Black women, deserve to have a safe and sacred space to express themselves and how they feel. And so that's the premise behind it. So yes, there will be journaling, there will be group sharing. You do not have to share. So if you're like, girl, I don't want to be telling nobody about my childhood trauma, I don't know these people, that's okay. You can still do the work. You can still do the processing through the journaling. You can still hear the insights and the philosophy that I have to share with you regarding your healing journey and moving forward. So we I don't know what else to share about it. I feel like sometimes I've talked about it so much, like it's like I don't know what people want to know, what people don't want to know. I feel like it's too much information. But yeah, it's an inner child healing workshop for Black women, and it's a very sacred space. It's virtual, and we will be journaling together. I will have a guided meditation where you will be able to meet your inner child, whichever age they're needing to be spoken to right now. Everybody meets someone different. Everybody meets at like a different version of themselves in the past. And yeah, so I'm very excited to host this once again. It's been about 2 years, maybe a year and a half since I've hosted it. I think the first time I hosted it was Mother's Day. Oh yeah, so I guess it has been 10 years. First time I hosted it was Mother's Day weekend 2021. And then I was hosting it throughout, the years, and then I took a break. So, okay, I kind of went on a tangent there. You know me, that's Tangent Lani. But anyway, thank you for tuning into today's episode. So happy that you are here. I hope that you are doing well. I hope that you are taking care of yourself. I hope that you are loving yourself. And I hope that you are giving yourself the space to exist freely as you are. You deserve to show up as yourself and be loved and appreciated as that girl, because you are that girl. Alrighty, I love you, and I will see you next week.